Hello, welcome to Confidence Through Cabaret. I'm Heather.
And I'm Ryan.
We're so excited you're here for Confidence with Coffee. Have you got your coffee there, Ryan?
I do. It is rather lovely.
Mine's gone cold, but I used to
Yeah,
hate
mine
coffee.
is also cold.
Yeah, I've gotten
I
used to it.
don't mind that though. I like cold coffee though. I'm one of those people who I'll drink a latte over about 2 hours kind of thing. Like I like to slow sip it.
But then would you order it in the cafe?
What, a latte?
A cold latte.
I'd order a frappe. Was it a frappe? Frappuccino, yeah. Cold ones.
I don't like cold coffee, but yet I'll drink cold coffee.
Oh, the minute the sun is out in the summer, like last year during the lockdown, the minute that sun came out, myself and my housemate were just like, oh, now it's time for cold coffee. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Coffee that's gone cold, but I won't make cold coffee.
Right.
I do
Oh.
sometimes put cold coffee into my smoothie.
Oh yeah, I can see that. That works. I see that.
Caffeine shot. Anyway, to your possible beauty.
To your possible beauty, I'm going to drink squash now as well.
I'm trying to do the water thing. I don't have any with me today, but I am trying.
Yeah, I've been a bit lax this week. Yeah.
So today we are introducing our Confidence with Coffee guest, Janis Isaman. And we are so excited because she's talking about movement modalities.
Yes.
And my favorite new phrase, I've written it down here, emotional inflammation, which isn't actually a real thing, but it is a great description of what she's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you resonate with that kind of subject around movement modalities and just releasing pain and making space in our body?
Well, so it's something I've thought about for a long time because I think there's often been an idea that with, say, for instance, like massage therapy or with chiropractic adjustment and things like that, that if you go and you do the thing and it's done, it's just physical, and there's that, it's just a physical bodily response to whatever's kind of gone out of line. And I've always kind of thought, well, that some of this has got to be caused by other factors. Most particularly, stress and tension, for instance, are the perfect indicators that our body stores information in that way. This because, I mean, like, you can see it with me. I've always got my shoulders hunched and forward. Partly that's to do with my posture, sitting at a desk for a lot of the time, and also I'm quite tall. But I'm often quite tense, and I find myself feeling quite tense and quite anxious. I'm a very anxious person, and that manifests by pulling myself further forward. I find my hands gripped a lot of the time. It's something that's very typical. I always, I clench my jaw quite often, and that causes things to set in patterns. It causes things to form, knots to form and tension to form. And I think it's such a, people often sort of say, well, you just need to figure out how to open this, you just need to strengthen that. And it's like, yes, but when you get into some of this stuff, you start releasing other things, because if our body is storing that tension, it's storing it as a reaction and as a reason. So I think it's really interesting that Janis has kind of come up with a practice that allows people to go through the process of analyzing where their body is holding that tension. And we talked a little bit about this before with things like body scanning. But I think it's very interesting that she goes through that process of finding where that tension is and getting people to be comfortable within that space, to allow the separation between those joints, to allow that space to exist, to allow the release of that through a mixture of physical and emotional kind of releasing. I think that's a very interesting practice, especially as she's taken it from so many different strata, as people will hear. What about yourself?
I mean, I think I have a lot of habits.
Mm.
I have a habit of, because I was clenching my jaw. When you said clench your jaw, I was thinking,
Right.
I'm clenching my jaw. I don't know why. I don't feel stressed right now,
Mhm.
but it's a habit. Like
Mhm.
that's my normal resting state.
Mhm.
And I am very aware from the aerial world of body positions and
Sure.
keeping my shoulders,
Mm.
especially my shoulders and my neck, safe.
Yeah.
Um, but I think uh, you know it's such a shame that we come to someone practicing like Janis, who has a very unique skill set and methodology and program. I think it's a shame that we have to get to a point of pain.
Oh, absolutely.
Before we start actually examining space in our body. And this is actually quite a long podcast because I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like, you guys were kind of, you weren't really laughing at me, but you were laughing because I was like, if you take all that tension away, then how does your body work? Because I just didn't, because I never remember experiencing that.
Yeah.
And I love how she explained to us.
Yes.
Should we have a listen to a clip?
Yes, we have a clip. Let's play the clip.
So in our culture at the moment, in the self-help world, there's a phrase called holding space. Well, how do you hold space? Space does not exist. It's not some, I'm holding space right now. What does that look like? What does that feel like? It's a concept that actually means nothing. Whereas I can feel, if I put my hand like this, where I'm gripping my fingers, I can feel that. That's actually a movement. Whereas if you go like that, what does that feel like? You're now holding space. It's nothing.
Right.
They don't like that.
Right. Right. And so your joints are doing the same thing. That's what's happening inside our joints. So when we have those aches and pains and stiffnesses, we're holding that compression, and that feels like something's happening. That's what we get when we go to the gym. We get that burn. We get that feeling. That's what happens when you run. That's what happens. All physical activity is basically some sort of version of that. I'm actually doing the opposite. I'm taking it out. That's where I start. I mean, I do have work that I do that's like Pilates based. We're going to feel stuff, but we start by pulling it out.
So now we know. Now we understand. And I will clarify the point of laughter there is not because that's funny. It's because that question needs to happen for people to understand it. And as it's coming out, I'm like, yeah, that's that question. That's where that question is. Because as we were talking about type A personalities, and I talked a lot about this, the idea of the way a type A personality will hold certain amounts of tension and will feed themselves and will do these things, will enforce a narrative of then, oh my God, but if I let that tension go, what will I do? And like hearing that externalized, hearing that vocalized is a really interesting moment. And it's like, yeah, that's the question that was going to come out. That's exactly that. Yeah, it's exactly that.
You guys absolutely weren't laughing at me, but it was just like, so I understand what you're saying, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
It goes, and actually I wasn't willing to, in the interest of time, to just like let that go and go, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I guess if you are somebody who holds a lot of emotion or trauma, or you have habits that cause you to hold that in your body, then it's important to understand what it means to be able to live without that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I had a little experience of that, which I talked about on the podcast. I had a little experience of that, after my late husband died, because I was like a rag doll, and I couldn't.
Right.
But then it came back again, because I do have A-type personality, which means that we're more likely to be, have different medical conditions or more serious versions of them, like heart attack or hypertension and cholesterol and things. And I think, what I loved this.
Right.
Because what I felt was absolutely across here on the palm side,
right,
but also all the way up here, all the way up here, all the way up my shoulder, up my neck, down my back, and probably all the way down. And I am aware that when you change, it's most people have seen the skeleton, and you move one thing and it moves the whole body, like this.
Yeah.
And I think, that something like that, or something like clenching your jaw, it's not just clenching your jaw. That's going all the way down your neck and your shoulders, and so it's really important that we get it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember becoming aware of the jaw moment, because a friend of mine, the fabulous drag queen May Graves, posted something on Facebook, and this was about 6 or 7 months ago, and it was just a one take kind of hit on their Facebook page, and it just said, I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but unclench your jaw. And because I always, when you see certain people, you always stop and read what's going on. And whenever I see May Mays, I'm like, oh, I'm in this, she's very close to me. So I saw that and I went, oh, I didn't know that was happening. And it's that moment of, you need to hear that and go, oh, I was not aware that that was a thing. And how that's manifested within our body, how that stress has manifested, how that overstimulation has manifested, how any number of these things, how grief manifests in the body, all really intense emotions, and they have a physical response.
Yeah. They really do. They really do. And I'm realizing as you're talking, I'm like, I don't often, sometimes I clench my jaw, like just my teeth together to clench my jaw here.
Right.
But sometimes, because I am the smiling queen of everything is fine.
Right.
Part of my A-type symptoms is that kind of just keep smiling, and then it's not a real smile, but it's jaw is still clenched. Well, I'm smiling, so I can't possibly be. I'm talking and laughing. It can't possibly be. But actually, if we have a real smile, it's in our face, and if it's here, that is tension.
Yeah, that is tension. Not only there, that's all through here. That's all of the musculature in the skull, and then it goes right the way down.
And then you add on top of that, being sedentary or sitting, at the desk and so on. It's no wonder we feel pain in our body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I loved that, and I think that's a really good lesson. And I also thought, yeah, I know what holding space is. And then she said, but you can't hold space. I was like,
oh. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's not space.
Yeah, fully.
And we talk a lot about this in Cabaret about, owning your space, right? Taking up space. That is so important to feeling good in your body. And so I thought, I know all about taking up space, but holding space for something, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I could relate to that is I have an on again, off again practice of meditation, or meditating with a candle sometimes, which helps me if I'm not able to quiet my voice. And that for me is holding space for my thoughts, and not holding anything, but that's I guess the only way that I can connect with that saying. But this I totally connect with. This is, I get this is strong,
right?
But it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, it was such a pleasure to host Janis, and to really get to kind of get into not just what she does, but really get into the, okay, how does this work, and how, because you and I are quite different in that I wouldn't say you're not an A-type, but you're not as extreme as me.
I have I don't know what that means to me, but I don't follow the same.
You have an ability to take time off. You have an ability. When we leave, like when we leave the day, we go, what are you doing this evening? We both say, yeah, we're going to relax. And then I never do.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by that.
Right. But then that's after years of not doing that, where I've forced myself to do things and to keep myself stimulated and doing all that stuff. And it's like knowing, oh no, if you stay on that social media, you will be so overstimulated that tomorrow you will get nothing done.
Yeah.
Like nothing will work for you if you don't stop that now. It's going to keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very I get very overwhelmed by social media.
Yeah, and it's very easy to get burnout, and it's recognizing how to shut it off before we get to that point, so that we can be productive tomorrow.
Exactly.
I, on the other hand, would say, well, I know I stayed on social media, I was overstimulated, but I'm not taking the day off. Damn it.
Yeah.
Sunday or whatever, and then I just keep on going, and then eventually, what happens to people like me, is that something happens to stop us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
actually, I love what Janis says about COVID and going through that quiet time as if we're on a retreat of some sort, as in being locked in and cut off, and not having a guide. And just have a listen to the whole thing.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
Yeah. You need Confidence Through Cabaret is the podcast. You will find it on Podbean or anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also find it on confidencethroughcabaret.com, which is alongside of our video log, our vodcast, our blog, articles that we've written for others, podcasts that we've guested on for others. You'll find the whole gambit on confidencethroughcabaret.com. You'll find us on all the socials on Confidence Through Cabaret. Our very precious Confidence Through Cabaret community is on Facebook.
Yes.
And I say precious because it's just so supportive and uplifting and just so lovely. And there are some great challenges in the unit section. So jump into the community and then check out those, because it's never too late to get in on them just because you didn't do them at the same time as other people.
Yeah.
It's the perfect time for when you find it. And we are on all the socials, Confidence Through Cabaret, except for Twitter, which is at YB.
YW. YS. I'm jumping forward.
I know. I'm on Clubhouse at Heather YB YWYS, and those letters stand for Ryan.
Your body, your world,
World.
your stage.
Yes, it does. Take up space. Own it. You don't have to hold the space, but take it.